All right, boys and girls, pencil eraser and your math book. So, first graders, we are starting now with lesson 10.3, reading bar graphs. So we're going to be talking about how can you read a bar graph to find the number that a bar shows. Now, we're starting out here first with a pictograph. It says to use counters to help solve the problem. You actually don't have enough counters to do that. So we're just going to have to use our brains here on this one, even though it would be better if we could use our bodies with the counters also. So you're going to write a question about the graph. You've had some of these before, right? You've had 2 lessons full of questions about this. Type of sneaker, this kind of tennis shoe thing we are wearing. Does it have laces where it ties together or no laces? Each circle stands for one child, so you can see how many have shoes with laces, how many have shoes with no shoelaces. You could think about which one has more, which one has fewer, how many there are altogether. You think about what question you want to write, and then do you see here it gives you 3 lines to go ahead and write your question. So you don't have to answer it. Go ahead and just write out your question. All right, boys and girls, so here, purple box, model and draw, this helps us know what we're going to be doing today. The first thing I want you to do, even before we start reading things, is to look at what's different here. Can you see how the information is all still really neatly lined up? But instead of a little picture in boxes, they're actually reaching these lines, these bars of color out to the lines. So see, here's a line that represents 2. Here's a line that represents 5, 6. Here's a line representing 1, and of course the very first line represents 0. That's where there's not anything. So in a bar graph, each bar shows information, the data. You can compare the lengths of the bars. What title describes this graph? Do you see here it says these parts, this is art tools. This says number of children. So this is telling us that 2 children chose crayons. This number of children chose paintbrushes. This number of children chose markers. So the title is actually going to be something like Art Tools the Children Chose. Now, it could be that this is what they chose and they used it. So it might be art tools the children used. It might be that somebody said, what do you prefer to work with? And this is what they said. So then it could be children's favorite art tools, but we don't have that information. We don't actually know. So we're just going to say art tools the children chose. So just in case it wasn't really clear, let's take a look here at this purple cloud the bee is saying. Touch the end of a bar. Look down to see the number of children. So see here for this yellow line for crayons. We go over here to the end, and it goes down to the 2. This blue line for paintbrushes, we go to the end of the bar and go down, and it tells us 6. And for markers, we go to the end of the bar, and we do have to be careful going down, right? Because we can't go down over to here. We can't go down over to here. We have to actually follow this line at the end down to find the 5. So I bet you can answer a lot of these questions on your own now. How many children chose paintbrushes? You can look at that. How many children chose crayons? You can look up at your graph to know that. How many more children chose paintbrushes than crayons? So look back here. Again, if you're saying how many more, you're not trying to find out how many crayons and paintbrushes together. You're trying to find out what was different here. These matched, but no matches over here. So what was the difference? How many more chose paintbrushes that didn't have a match of children who chose crayons? Which art tool did the fewest children choose? You can figure that out and circle. Which art tool does the most children choose? You can figure that out and circle that. Now, on this next page, here you can see the title of this bar graph, How Our Jackets Are Fastened. Do you see here? Fasteners. These are the types of closings that might be on the jacket, zippers or buttons. And then the number of jackets. So again, we follow the bar all the way out to the end, go down to find the number. 5 chose zippers. Here with buttons, follow it to the end, go down to find the number. 2 chose buttons. How many more jackets have zippers than buttons? Again, how many more? We're looking for the difference. These two match, but then here are the ones that are different that tell us how many more were here than here. Kim puts on a jacket with buttons. Add her jacket to the graph. Now, it would be great if you have your pencil box and you could go ahead and continue this yellow bar with yellow. If you don't, go ahead and do it with your pencil. So we're going out to add Kim's jacket, one more jacket to this bar with buttons. So we go out here to one more, color it in, then we can look now how many jackets have buttons. Ed adds a row to the graph to show jackets with snaps. Now we don't have a spot to do that, right? We could try to draw in a snap here and write the word snaps, but we don't really have a way to record the data, do we? 2 fewer jackets have snaps than have zippers. All right, how many jackets have snaps? Well, let's take a look at this. So we're going to compare snaps to zippers. Well, here would be zippers, right? The bar would go right out to here. That's equal. 2 fewer jackets have snaps. Well, so to go fewer, we're not adding on, right, to bigger numbers. To go fewer, we're going back down to smaller numbers. 2 fewer. So here would be 1 jacket less, right? Here would be another jacket back. How many jackets have snaps? Use the graph at the top to answer the test prep question. How many jackets have zippers? That's not a very tricky one to just double check up there on the graph and see where that blue bar ends. All right, boys and girls, you got some practice reading bar graphs. Tomorrow, you are going to be making bar graphs. We'll see you then.